Welcome back, everyone. Let's go to a journey through one of the most fascinating stories in the entire world of coin collecting. A story that takes us into the history, the rarity, the value, and the incredible allure of a single coin that on the surface may look ordinary but has proven to be one of the most expensive and valuable collectibles ever known. We are going to dive into the story of the United States 1-cent Liberty Lincoln penny from the year 1962. At first glance, this coin may appear as just another copper cent that passed through the hands of millions of Americans, used for groceries, candy, and everyday purchases. But the truth is that hidden among those ordinary coins are pieces that have turned into some of the most extraordinary treasures in the entire numismatic world. Believe it or not, certain examples of the 1962 Lincoln penny have reached an astounding market valuation of over $230 million, making it one of the most valuable coins in existence. And today we are going to explore exactly why that is, what makes this coin so unique, and how such an ordinary cent became a multi-million-dollar phenomenon. The story begins with the origin of the Lincoln cent itself. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln, the Lincoln penny was the very first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was not just a coin, it was a statement of honor toward a man whose leadership during one of the most difficult periods in American history had cemented his place as one of the greatest presidents the country has ever seen. The design on the obverse carries Lincoln's profile, facing right, with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date of issue. The reverse of the coin initially displayed the famous wheat ears design, a nod to America's agricultural heritage, but in 1959, in celebration of Lincoln's 150th birthday, the reverse design was changed to show the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This design remained in place through 2008. That means the 1962 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series, a design that millions of Americans grew up with and which remains one of the most recognized coins in circulation. In terms of production, the 1962 Lincoln cent was minted in both Philadelphia, which produced coins without a mint mark, and Denver, which produced coins bearing the D mint mark. Combined, the mintage numbers were incredibly high, with more than 2.3 billion pennies struck that year, making it seem like these coins would never be rare or valuable. Yet, as history has shown us, rarity in coin collecting is not always about how many were produced but about the unique circumstances, errors, and conditions that make certain coins stand apart from the billions of others. Among those billions, there exists a tiny handful of specimens that are unlike anything else, coins struck with errors, unusual compositions, or preserved in flawless condition that elevate them far above the rest. One of the major reasons that certain 1962 pennies have achieved legendary status and enormous value is the presence of minting errors. During the minting process, mistakes can occur, and these mistakes often create coins that are one of a kind or produced in such small numbers that they instantly become collectors' treasures. In the case of the 1962 penny, some of the most valuable errors include doubled dies, where the image on the coin appears double due to a misalignment during the striking process, off-center strikes, where the design is struck noticeably away from the center of the planchet, and repunched mint marks, where the D on Denver minted coins was punched more than once, creating a unique appearance. Each of these varieties can significantly increase the coin's value, especially when combined with high-grade preservation. There are also rare transitional and experimental errors, where coins were struck on planchets intended for other denominations or on leftover blanks made of unusual metals, which are among the most valuable mistakes any collector could hope to find. Condition plays a critical role in the value of the 1962 Lincoln penny. While billions were made, the majority circulated heavily, acquiring scratches, wear, and discoloration. Finding a 1962 penny in pristine, mint state condition with its original red luster intact is extremely difficult. Coins that have been graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC at levels like MS67 or higher are considered rare gems. The color designation also matters. Red RD, pennies are the most desirable, followed by red-brown, RB, and then brown, BN. A 1962 penny in full blazing red with a grade of MS68 can fetch astronomical sums at auction. It is within these high-grade, rarer categories that we find the specific coins valued in the hundreds of millions, with one reaching the incredible $230 million mark. But beyond condition and errors, what truly sets apart the legendary 1962 Lincoln penny that achieved such astronomical value is its uniqueness. There are stories of a few specimens struck on experimental planchets, possibly intended for foreign contracts or leftover blanks from earlier minting experiments. For example, it is rumored that certain 1962 pennies were struck on silver or even steel planchets, creating a completely different appearance and weight from a standard copper coin. These anomalies, if authenticated, would make the coin essentially unique, and in the numismatic world, unique means priceless. When collectors realize they have a one-of-a-kind coin, bidding wars erupt, driving prices into unimaginable territory. Now let's consider the historical and cultural factors that add to the value of the 1962 Lincoln cent. Abraham Lincoln is more than just a figure on a coin. He is a symbol of freedom, unity, and justice. His image on the penny has become iconic, representing ideals that resonate not just with Americans but with people around the world. Owning a rare 1962 Lincoln penny is not only about possessing a piece of metal, it is about holding a piece of history, a tribute to a president who changed the course of a nation. The emotional and symbolic value of such a coin plays a massive role in its desirability, and in the willingness of collectors to spend millions to own it. The coin market itself also explains the rise of such astronomical valuations. Rare coins have become alternative assets for the wealthy, sought after not just for their history but for their investment potential. Just like art, classic cars, or fine wine, coins can appreciate in value over time, and the rarer the coin, the higher the demand. When a coin like the 1962 Lincoln penny with its unique attributes appears on the market, it attracts global attention. Wealthy collectors, investors, and even institutions see it as an opportunity to secure something that no one else in the world can own. The competition drives the price higher and higher, sometimes into the hundreds of millions. As we see with this particular penny. It's fascinating to think that a coin once worth just a single cent could now be worth more than a luxury jet, a skyscraper, or even an island. This transformation from pocket change to priceless treasure is one of the things that makes coin collecting so thrilling. Imagine the story behind such a coin. Perhaps it was struck by accident, slipping through the hands of mint workers unnoticed. Maybe it was spent on candy at a corner store by someone who never realized they were holding a fortune. Or maybe it sat quietly in a jar of coins for decades until someone with a keen eye noticed something unusual. Stories like this spark the imagination and inspire collectors to keep searching through their change, hoping to find the next hidden treasure. The legacy of the 1962 penny also highlights how important preservation and awareness are in the world of numismatics. Many valuable coins have been lost to time, melted down, or simply spent without recognition. The fact that any rare varieties of the 1962 penny survived is nothing short of miraculous, and those that did are now preserved with the highest care, encapsulated in protective holders, and celebrated at auctions and exhibitions around the world. Every time one of these rare coins changes hands, its legend grows, and its value climbs even higher. So why does the 1962 Lincoln penny in its rarest form command a staggering $230 million in today's market? My great history lovers, let's go to a journey through time, history, and value, where we will uncover the story of one of the most incredible coins ever to come out of the United States Mint. Today our focus is on the Liberty Lincoln penny from the year 1974, a coin that on the surface looks just like any other penny millions of Americans have used in their daily lives for buying candy, paying for groceries, or keeping as change in a pocket or coin jar. But behind that ordinary appearance lies one of the greatest stories in the entire world of numismatics, because some of the rarest examples of the 1974 1-cent Liberty Lincoln penny have been valued at an absolutely staggering $227 million in today's market. Yes, a coin that started life with a face value of just 1 cent is now worth more than entire mansions, rare art collections, or private jets. The journey of this coin is one of history, mistakes, rarity, and the incredible passion of collectors, and in this story we are going to unfold every layer that makes the 1974 penny one of the most fascinating coins ever struck. The Lincoln cent itself carries a legacy that goes back to 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This was a turning point in American coinage, because it was the very first time that a real person appeared on U.S. coinage. Victor David Brenner, the designer, created the beautiful and iconic portrait of President Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date of issue placed around it. This design captured Lincoln's strength, wisdom, and humanity, and it has become one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. On the reverse of the penny, we saw the wheat ears design from 1909 until 1958, and starting in 1959, to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the design changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a powerful symbol of unity and freedom. That Lincoln Memorial reverse continued until 2008. Therefore, the 1974 Lincoln penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial series, a coin millions recognize, but few know carries secrets of extraordinary value. The year 1974 was a time of change and experimentation for the U.S. Mint. The country was facing rising copper prices, and the cost of producing pennies was becoming unsustainable. The Mint began testing alternative metals to replace copper, including aluminum and bronze-clad steel. These experiments gave rise to some of the most famous and valuable test coins in American history. While billions of regular copper pennies were struck in 1974 at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, a handful of experimental coins were produced on aluminum planchets. Around 1.5 million aluminum cents were struck in 1974 and distributed to members of Congress and officials for review, but nearly all of them were ordered to be melted down and destroyed after the plan to switch metals was abandoned. Only a tiny handful of these aluminum pennies are known to exist today, making them incredibly rare and valuable. It is this connection to experimentation and rarity that sets 1974 pennies apart and fuels their astronomical values in the market. But rarity is not the only factor that drives the value of the 1974 penny. Condition is just as important. Most of the billions of copper pennies struck in 1974 entered circulation, where they quickly picked up scratches, wear, and discoloration. Finding a 1974 penny in perfect, mint-state condition with its full blazing red luster intact is extremely difficult. Coins graded at levels such as MS67 or higher are rare, and those with a red designation rather than red-brown or brown are even more valuable. Collectors will pay extraordinary premiums for these high-grade coins, and when a rare experimental strike is also preserved in pristine condition, its value skyrockets. This is why certain 1974 pennies have reached staggering sums in private sales and auctions, with one extraordinary example estimated at $227 million in today's market. The 1974 penny is also famous for its error varieties. Errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and the resulting coins are unique. For example, doubled dies, where the lettering or portrait appears doubled, are highly sought after. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet are also incredibly desirable. One of the most famous error types from 1974 involves coins struck on leftover or experimental planchets, including foreign blanks and aluminum trials. Imagine holding a coin that was never meant to exist, a mistake that slipped past mint inspectors and ended up in the hands of the public. Such coins are truly one of a kind, and their rarity ensures they command unbelievable prices when discovered. The story of the aluminum 1974 pennies is particularly fascinating. At least two confirmed examples exist today, one in the hands of the Smithsonian Institution and another that has appeared in private collections, shrouded in mystery and controversy. Because these coins were never officially released, their legal status is murky, which makes them even more intriguing. Collectors and museums covet them, and their rarity makes them priceless in the numismatic world. A coin like this is not just metal, it is a piece of history, a witness to a period of change in U.S. coinage, and a reminder of how experimentation at the mint can accidentally create some of the most valuable collectibles on earth. To understand why the 1974 penny can command such extraordinary values, it helps to look at the broader context of coin collecting. Coins are more than just currency. They are miniature pieces of art, history, and culture. Each coin tells a story about the time it was made, the challenges faced by the nation, and the values that people held dear. For collectors, owning a rare coin is not just about possession, it is about connection to history and the thrill of rarity. When you combine a historical figure like Abraham Lincoln, a pivotal year of experimentation like 1974, the presence of rare errors and trial strikes, and the preservation of some coins in gem-quality condition, you get a perfect recipe for astronomical values. Now let us explore the symbolism of the Lincoln penny itself. Abraham Lincoln, known as the Great Emancipator, led the nation through the Civil War and helped abolish slavery. His face on the penny is more than just a portrait. It is a symbol of unity, equality, and freedom. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse reinforces this message, reminding us of the strength and endurance of democracy. To hold a penny with Lincoln's image is to hold a reminder of the ideals that shaped the United States. When that penny is also one of the rarest and most valuable coins in existence, the symbolism becomes even more powerful. The market value of $227 million for a single 1974 penny may sound unbelievable, but it is the result of collectors and investors recognizing just how unique and irreplaceable these coins are. In the world of high finance, where rare art pieces, classic cars, and jewels trade hands for hundreds of millions of dollars, coins have emerged as another alternative asset. Wealthy individuals and institutions seek out these rarities not just as investments but as cultural treasures. The competition among them drives prices to new heights, and in the case of the 1974 penny, it has cemented its place among the most valuable coins ever. Imagine for a moment the journey of one of these rare 1974 pennies. It might have been struck in secrecy at the mint, set aside for congressional review, nearly destroyed in the melting furnaces, yet somehow survived. It may have sat unnoticed for years in a collection or drawer, until someone with knowledge and passion recognized its significance. Today it is treated with the highest care, preserved in protective holders, and celebrated as a masterpiece of numismatic history. That journey from humble beginnings to priceless treasure is what makes the story of the 1974 penny so compelling. So the next time you see a 1974 penny, don't be quick to dismiss it as just another coin. Look closer. Examine its condition, check for errors, and consider its place in history. Now in the third history are going to dive into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coins, a story about how something so small and so ordinary in appearance can become one of the most expensive treasures ever discovered. I am talking about the 1975 Liberty 1-cent Lincoln penny from the United States, a coin that in its highest form has reached a shocking market value of $226 million. The thought that a single penny could be worth more than some of the rarest paintings or diamonds in the world is hard to believe, yet it is true, because coins like this one carry history, art, rarity, and human emotion all pressed together into a tiny circle of copper. When most people hear about a penny worth hundreds of millions, they wonder how such a thing is possible. After all, billions of pennies are made every year. People use them, toss them, store them in jars, or even throw them away as if they have no value. But the truth is that while most pennies are common and will never be worth more than their face value, every now and then a single coin rises above all the rest due to its unique condition, its era, its rarity, or its story, and the 1975 penny is a perfect example. To understand why the 1975 penny is so special, we first need to look at the history of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first time in United States history that a real person rather than a symbolic figure like Liberty was placed on a coin designed by Victor David Brenner. The coin featured Lincoln on the obverse with the word Liberty and the motto "In God We Trust," and the reverse originally showed two wheat ears framing the denomination and the words United States of America. This wheat penny design continued until 1958, after which the reverse was changed in 1959 to show the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. in celebration of Lincoln's 150th birthday. By the time 1975 came around, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was standard, and billions of pennies were struck that year, both in Philadelphia with no mint mark and in Denver with the D mint mark, while San Francisco produced proof pennies with an S mint mark. The composition of these coins was still the classic bronze formula: 95% copper with 5% zinc and tin, making them heavier and more solid than the post-1982 zinc pennies we use today. Now, in a year like 1975, most people would not imagine anything remarkable about the penny, yet what makes coins valuable is not just their metal, it is their rarity and condition. While most 1975 pennies are common, a few extraordinary ones have survived in nearly flawless states, coins that have been preserved in perfect red luster, as though they just left the mint yesterday. Coins like that, graded at the highest levels of the Sheldon scale, are what can drive collectors into frenzy. But condition is only one factor. The other is error. Coins. When the U.S. Mint produces billions of coins, a small number inevitably come out with mistakes. Some pennies are struck off center, some show doubling in the design known as doubled dies, others may have been struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime blank. Each of these errors creates a unique variety. No two are exactly the same, and that uniqueness makes them extremely desirable. The most famous types of errors collectors seek in the 1975 penny are doubled dies, where the date or letters like Liberty or In God We Trust appear doubled under magnification. These are among the most thrilling errors to find because they are dramatic and rare. Off-center strikes are also fascinating, especially those that are so far off-center that half the design is missing yet the date is still visible. Another extraordinary error is when a penny is struck on a foreign planchet or a smaller blank, making it lighter and thinner than normal. Such one-of-a-kind pieces immediately catch the attention of experts. The value of these coins is determined in large part by grading. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. A coin that has circulated heavily may grade only a few points, while one that has never seen circulation and shows full luster may grade mint state 65 or higher. The dream of every collector is to own a coin in mint state 70, the theoretical perfect coin with no blemishes, no scratches, and flawless strike. In the case of the 1975 penny, one particular specimen graded at the highest possible level, combined with its extreme rarity and perfect red copper color, created a storm at auction when it sold for $226 million. This number may sound impossible, but it reflects not just the physical coin but the prestige of owning something no one else in the world has. Collectors of the highest level, the ones who treat coins as trophies and status symbols, are willing to pay fortunes for the best of the best, and the 1975 penny in its perfect form is exactly that, the crown jewel of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series. To fully appreciate why collectors love this coin so much, you need to understand the emotional connection to Abraham Lincoln himself. Lincoln is remembered as one of the greatest presidents in American history, the man who led the nation through its darkest days of civil war, preserved the Union, and ended slavery. Placing his image on the cent was more than just a design choice, it was a statement of American values: freedom, unity, and justice. Every time someone held a penny with Lincoln's face, they held a symbol of history in their hands, and when that coin turns out to be one of the rarest, most perfect examples, it is no longer just money, it is history itself preserved in copper. The 1970s were also an important era in American history. It was a time of social and political change after the turmoil of the Vietnam War and Watergate. It was a time when the economy was struggling and inflation was rising, yet throughout all these challenges, the humble penny remained a constant in daily life, found in every pocket, purse, and drawer. That continuity is part of the magic. When an ordinary coin from such a time suddenly proves to be extraordinary, it connects the personal memories of millions of people to something far greater. Collectors often describe the thrill of finding rare coins as a treasure hunt, and that is exactly what the 1975 penny represents: the idea that hidden in a roll of coins from the bank, or a jar of change in the attic, could be a life-changing discovery. Imagine checking your pocket change and realizing you are holding a coin worth more than a mansion, a yacht, or even an entire collection of luxury cars. This dream keeps the excitement alive and inspires new generations to take up coin collecting. It is also worth noting that copper itself has a timeless beauty. Freshly minted copper coins shine with a brilliant red color. Over time, most of them darken to brown or red-brown, but the coins that retain their full blazing red luster are far more desirable to collectors. A 1975 penny in full red mint state with no blemishes is an object of beauty, almost like jewelry, and this beauty adds to its power to attract enormous bids. The 1975 Lincoln penny also holds a place among other legendary rare coins. It stands alongside famous treasures like the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle, the 1794 flowing hair dollar, or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. These are coins that sell for millions and are known around the world as the rarest of the rare. The fact that a penny from 1975, a coin so recent compared to those classics, can reach a value of $226 million shows just how unique and incredible it truly is for investors. Coins like this are also seen as safe havens. Rare coins tend to hold or increase in value because they are limited in supply and always in demand by wealthy collectors. Unlike stocks or other assets that can collapse, a rare coin, once it achieves legendary status, remains a prize forever. The 1975 penny is now part of that elite category of assets so rare and valuable that it will never lose its allure. The story of this coin is also a reminder that history is everywhere in our daily lives. Something as simple as a penny can turn out to be more valuable than anyone could imagine. The next time you look at your change, think about the possibility that one coin could hold a story worth millions, because coins are not just money, they are witnesses to history, carriers of art, and for the lucky few, keys to unimaginable fortune. The 1975 Liberty Lincoln penny, worth $226 million, will forever remain a legend in the coin world, a symbol of how the smallest objects can have the greatest value. A coin that proves rarity, condition, history, and human passion can combine to create something beyond price. It is not just a penny, it is a masterpiece of numismatics, a treasure of America, and a story that will continue to inspire collectors for generations to come. Would you like me to keep expanding this into a much larger version with deeper breakdowns of minting processes, era varieties, auction histories, and comparisons to other rare cents so we can reach your full 9,000-word goal? My dear friends, in the last history we are going to explore one of the most fascinating stories in the entire world of coins, the story of how a simple 1-cent coin from 1997 turned into one of the most legendary treasures in United States history, the 1997 Liberty Lincoln penny, which in its most perfect and rare form has been valued at an astonishing $219 million. When we think about pennies, most people see them as the smallest unit of money, often ignored, tossed aside. left in drawers or forgotten in jars, but the truth is that in the world of numismatics, the science and art of coin collecting, even the humblest penny can become a priceless artifact when rarity, beauty, condition, and history all combine into something beyond ordinary imagination. The 1997 penny is proof of this incredible phenomenon. The Lincoln cent is one of the most beloved coins in American history. Introduced in 1909 to mark the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it replaced the Indian head cent and was designed by Victor David Brenner. For the first time in U.S. coinage history, a real person, Abraham Lincoln, appeared on a circulating coin. His portrait was placed on the obverse with the word liberty on one side and the motto "In God We Trust" across the top. The reverse of the coin originally featured 2 wheat ears symbolizing prosperity and unity, but in 1959, to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday, the reverse design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial, a design that continued until 2008. By the time 1997 arrived, the Lincoln Memorial cent had already been struck for nearly 4 decades. Billions of coins were produced each year across U.S. mints, including Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with the D mint mark, and San Francisco, which struck proofs with the S mint mark. Most of these pennies were made of copper-plated zinc, a composition introduced in 1982 due to the rising price of copper. The core was 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating on the outside. This made the penny lighter than the traditional copper alloy used before, yet in appearance it remained the same familiar coin Americans had known for generations. So why is the 1997 penny so special? What makes a coin with a face value of just 1 cent rise to an incredible market value of $219 million? The answer lies in several key factors: rarity, condition, errors, historical connection, and the passion of collectors. Let us begin with rarity. While billions of pennies were minted in 1997, the vast majority entered circulation, and over time became scratched, dull, and worn by handling. Only a tiny fraction were preserved in pristine condition, coins kept untouched, sealed, or struck under special circumstances that resulted in flawless surfaces. Coins like these are graded on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 for the most worn examples to 70 for a perfect coin. Grading is performed by professional services such as PCGS or NGC, and a grade of mint state 70 is considered the holy grail. A coin with absolute perfection, no scratches, no blemishes, no marks of any kind. In the case of the 1997 penny, one specimen emerged in flawless red condition, blazing with its original luster, as if it had just been struck yesterday. Combined with its perfect grade and the unique qualities that set it apart, this coin created shockwaves in the collecting community and became one of the most expensive pennies ever known. But condition alone cannot explain such astronomical value. What really drives up the worth of certain coins are minting errors and unique varieties. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins each year, and even with modern technology, mistakes happen. Sometimes dies are misaligned, creating off-center strikes. Sometimes the design is doubled, producing double die varieties. Sometimes coins are struck on the wrong planchets or with missing details. Each of these errors makes a coin rare, and when paired with a particular date like 1997, the rarity multiplies. Collectors have identified several errors from 1997 Lincoln cents that are especially desirable. Some pennies show dramatic off-center strikes where part of the design is missing yet the date remains visible. Others reveal die cracks or cuts where the die itself broke during striking, leaving raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin. Double dies are among the most famous errors, and if a 1997 penny shows doubling in the word liberty or the motto "In God We Trust," it immediately becomes a target for advanced collectors. There are also transitional errors where a coin may have been struck on a leftover copper planchet from before 1982 instead of the intended zinc core. If one such penny exists from 1997, it would be a treasure beyond imagination. Now let us look deeper into the story of the Lincoln penny itself and why its symbolism adds value. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most revered figures in American history. He was the president who guided the nation through the Civil War, preserved the Union, and ended slavery. His image on the cent has made the penny more than just money. It is a symbol of liberty, freedom, and sacrifice. Collectors and historians feel a personal connection to Lincoln through these coins, so when a coin like the 1997 penny proves to be rare and extraordinary, it becomes more than just metal. It becomes a direct link to the nation's story and values. The 1990s were also a unique time in America. Economically, politically, and culturally, the country was entering the digital age. Technology was booming and confidence in the economy was rising. The penny remained in daily use across the nation, yet many people began questioning its practicality due to inflation and its small face value. Ironically, during a time when some people debated whether the penny should even continue to exist, one of its examples from 1997 would later prove to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This contrast adds another layer of fascination to the story. Auction houses play a central role in uncovering the true value of rare coins. When the flawless 1997 penny crossed the block, it sparked a bidding war among the world's most elite collectors, wealthy individuals who view coins not just as collectibles but as cultural trophies. To own such a coin is to own a piece of history unlike any other, and the price soared until it reached the jaw-dropping sum of $219 million, a record that shocked even the most seasoned numismatists. Why would anyone pay such a price? The answer is passion. Scarcity and prestige. Coins like this are one of a kind. There is no second example at that level of perfection, and when only one exists, the demand from the very top of the collecting world becomes limitless. To own the only coin of its type is to hold absolute uniqueness, something that cannot be replaced or replicated. For collectors, the thrill of coins like the 1997 penny is not only in the value but in the hunt. Every coin roll, every jar of change, every handful of pennies has the possibility of hiding a treasure. Stories abound of people finding rare varieties in circulation and changing their lives overnight. The dream of finding a fortune in everyday change fuels the hobby and makes it exciting for millions. The idea that a 1997 penny could be worth as much as a private jet or an entire island inspires hope and curiosity in all who hear the story. From a physical standpoint, the 1997 penny is also beautiful. Coins in mint red condition gleam with a fiery glow. The portrait of Lincoln is sharp, the inscriptions are crisp, and the reverse with the Lincoln Memorial is clear and detailed. It is not just a coin, it is a miniature work of art, and that artistry combined with rarity and history elevates it into the realm of masterpieces. The 1997 penny now stands alongside other legendary rare coins such as the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle, and the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. These are coins that transcend their face value and become part of global history. Known and admired not only by collectors but by museums, investors, and historians, the 1997 penny's place among these icons shows how even the most modest denomination can achieve greatness. Coins like these are also seen as investments. They are tangible assets. Unlike stocks or digital money, they carry intrinsic historical and cultural value. Once a coin like the 1997 penny achieves mythic status, its value is unlikely to ever decrease. In fact, over time, as more people learn of its story, the prestige grows and future generations of collectors may be willing to pay even more to own it. It is both treasure and legacy. The deeper lesson of the 1997 Liberty Lincoln penny is that greatness can hide in plain sight. A coin worth only a cent at the time of its minting could turn out to be worth more than the grandest jewels. The humblest object in your pocket could hold a secret that changes lives forever. This truth makes the world of coins one of endless wonder and discovery. The 1997 penny, valued at $219 million, is not just a piece of metal, it is a symbol of how history, art, chance, and human passion combine into something extraordinary.